Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. And this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Jane. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. Hope you and Charlene have been doing well. This is Jane. Thank you once again for the video you made for my brother and me around last Christmas called Narcissistic Baby Boomer Parents Want to Keep You Inferior. It helped to hear our story and read the comments of our fellow subscribers. Thank you guys as well. Another thing that helped was your feedback and your comment, Ollie, that Dad's rage was selective and was not something he could not control, as he does perfectly control himself at work and in other circumstances. Right. Understand. And the point I'm making is, with that was, they believed that their father had this uncontrollable rage that he just couldn't stop, which is bullshit. Okay, because the narc will never rage at somebody who's going to kick the living shit out of them. So they know when to control it and when not to control it. The narc's rage is always selective. The narc's, and especially the narc baby boomer's rage, is always selective rage. Always selective. Oh, I just can't control myself. Bullshit. In this letter, I would like to share the experience of realizing that things were terribly wrong. It will be about that period of time that happened about 5 years ago when I lost hope of ever being able to reach mutual understanding with our parents and how my brother and I discovered narcissism. The first stage was when we went for a road trip, 4 of us. Oh, those trips. They always exhausted us and did not feel like vacation at all. Yes, we behaved very carefully around parents, and yet we would always have those long, torturous sessions of emotional brain fuckery. Please excuse my language. This is not something new. However, on that specific trip that happened around 5-6 years ago, my brother and I noticed that there were some kind of cycles in our parents' moods and behaviors towards us. We saw that after fights they seemed relieved, and we even noticed some kind of weird pleasure they were getting out of these. They, however, would say the opposite, how they suffered more than we did, and how they only had these difficult conversations because they loved us and wanted all the best for us. See, when parents are doing that, especially to adult children, okay, fucking with your lives, especially baby boomers, okay, baby boomers fuck with your life so they don't have to deal with their own shitty ones. Okay? Because understand something. Baby boomers, as much as we hate baby boomers, they hate each other. They'll enable each other's bullshit and stick up for each other. But deep down, inside, they all see that each other. They all hate each other. And the weird thing is, and the thing is about baby boomers, okay, is that they led society in divorce. The reason divorce is what it is because of the baby boomers, okay? But here's the thing, they got divorced because they hated each other. And the ones that stay together mostly hate each other too. They're just sticking it out. So they got this resentment for each other that they deal with by fucking with your life, by telling you how fucked up you are, and then they can enable each other. I can't believe it. I know. And that's why you see this relief from them. Because now they got something to talk to each other about that isn't about hating each other. So they don't have to deal with their own bullshit. They need the drama so they can discuss it with each other. So they don't have to discuss their own fucking hatred of each other. That's why they seem relieved after the fact. On that specific road trip from hell, being honest, my brother and I noticed clearly that something was off and that there were cycles, and we wanted to figure out those cycles to avoid the bad moments. The cycles, okay, is when they're not messing, when you're seeing these cycles, it's something that's happening between your 2 narc baby boomer parents. And that's where you can start seeing the cycle. And now they're knowing we gotta start shit now with the kids. We gotta start picking on other people so we can make our discussions about that and not about each other. About a year later, between jobs while working online, I'd stayed with my parents for several months. My brother was at the university. They live in the countryside, and to get to the city, I needed to take a train. There was no transit from their house to the train station. They would drive me there. I'm ashamed to say I did not have a driver's license yet. On multiple occasions, my parents, especially Dad, expressed concern that my interactions with friends were too frequent and would be harmful to me. When I argued that going to the city to see my friends only did me good, he started trying to prove to me that my friends were not real friends. Mind you, they are my friends, and I have been there for each other multiple times in different situations. And there is trust, support, and everything else that would be a normal good friendship. Understand, he's doing this because your mother and father hate each other. Baby boomers, the dirty little secret is baby boomers hate each other. They can't get along. They can't get along with anybody, each other included. So what they do is they cause drama with us. So they can make all their discussions and all their focuses on that bullshit instead of their own. Once Dad said he would not drive me to the train station, I said, it's okay, I'll walk. So he did drive me, but with a lot of tension and another session of brain fuckery from both my parents in the car. My mom would act like a victim and say that I love my friends more than my parents. Again, not true. I'd always loved my parents a lot, and I had done all I could to express my love to them, most times without success. Remember when Mom ripped and threw in the garbage that woman's day card that I made for her when I was 8 or 9 because it was clumsy. I was accused of disrespecting and upsetting her by making such a clumsy card. When I tried to hug my mom as a kid and teen, she would usually say it was weird and did not like it. When, as a young adult, I was getting her gifts that would make her feel or look better, she would usually not like them either, not even giving them a try. If she did give some of those items a chance, she ended up using them a lot, as they were indeed pretty damn useful. But it seemed like the fact of me being the person who gives the gift meant she would not like it. When I tried to give her advice on how to be happier, she had always acted like a victim. She would turn it against me and make me look like a terrible, selfish person who does not understand her. Right? See, exactly. When you make this is what backs up everything I'm telling you. When you do something to try to make her happy or try to help her, she attacks back. That's why your mother and father need to constantly find things to pick on you about, so they don't have to deal with their own bullshit. As if I was insulting her. And then sometime later, she and Dad would be repeating things I said as if those were their own thoughts. Anyways, I always loved my parents, and so did my brother. But loving them was like trying to fill a black hole, sacrificing all of you and still not getting anywhere. Well, that's what baby boomers are. They're a black hole. They're a black hole of emotions and time and experience and self-esteem. The baby boomer generation is a black hole. It's a perfect definition of them. The baby boomer, they are a walking, living black hole. And the purpose is to suck you in and to spit you out in some unfamiliar alternate reality. Hanging out with my friends let me see that people can interact normally without these dramas. I started noticing that the constant emotional tension and the feeling of not being enough was something specific to being around my parents rather than something normal. After trying to attack my friendships, Dad moved on to criticizing my hobbies, jobs, and character. I'm very curious and love doing and learning a lot of things that are often not related to each other. Learning different languages, doing sports, participating in a number of events, writing, painting, taking science courses on Coursera, and many more other things. All these while earning my living and not hurting anyone. See, you're doing these things to maybe try to gain their approval or earn their respect. Make it, everything you do, okay, to the baby boomer is going to be sucked into that fucking black hole and put into some alternate reality. Everything you do is ammunition for them. Why are they doing it? Why are your baby boomer parents doing it? Because they hate each other. And the more things they have to talk about you being fucked up about, is less they have to talk to each other about their own fucking relationship, about how much they hate each other. What, you think you think my father and mother, like, they hated each other? You think there was any real mourning at my mother's funeral from my father? Fuck, no. They don't give a shit. None of them give a shit. None of them. Black holes, all of them. Black holes. Dad was saying I was irresponsible, had no direction in life, was walking in circles and insulting him personally by not choosing to work for him. Mom would also say that I was immature and unfair to Dad. On a couple occasions, I could not help but cry a little bit, and Dad said, while Mom was not around, "Go cry. This is what you manipulative women do. Learn from your mom." There it is. There it is. There's your proof. There's your proof, Jane. This isn't about you. It's about them and their relationship. There it is. He let his mask slip. They hate each other. They hate each other. And he needs to pick on you for anything and everything just so they don't have to he doesn't have to be manipulated by her. Better to manipulate you. Better to have her and him manipulate you than the two of them manipulating each other, right? In their eyes. That's what's going on here. During one of those arguments, Dad looked at me coldly and said, "You think I cannot ruin this life that you have?" This was a shock for me. I was used to him being explosive, yelling and saying nasty things, but this one, the cold statement of him wanting to ruin his own daughter's life, it was too much. It was different. My heart sank. He did not love me and did not wish me well. Of course, Mom pretended that I misunderstood, and it was my fault for upsetting Dad so much that he could not phrase his thoughts properly. My mom did not care either. From then on, I put on an emotional wall between myself and my parents and decided not to share much about my life and feelings. I was also thinking to leave their house soon. Once I became a little more distant, Dad's attacks on me became more frequent. I remember the last time I desperately tried to get my point over to him, hoping he and Mom would understand. We were at the kitchen, talking about my lifestyle, hobbies, friends, etc. Why is there always a discussion about your life? Stop telling them anything. You set yourself up to be sucked into the black hole because you keep giving them the ammunition to use against you. And I was trying to explain that I was not doing anything at all that would hurt anyone. I don't remember how the whole thing escalated, but at that point, Dad was yelling at me that while under his roof, by the way, his, not theirs, I was to behave the way he tells me. Mom acted like nothing was happening while cooking something with that passive-aggressive, offended victim face. I responded that in this case, we were not meant to live under the same roof, and that I will gladly live by myself. Dad moved closer towards me with his classic crazy angry face and started screaming at the top of his lungs that I was nothing outside of the family. Yeah, he's terrified. He's terrified that he's going to be left alone with his wife. I screamed back in despair. I was extremely hurt by the fact that everything I was saying was twisted and turned against me, and exhausted by trying to explain to them that the whole conversation did not make any sense, and that we all loved each other and there was nothing to worry about, as everything could be discussed calmly without this torturous drama, and that living alone would be good anyway. No offense. Dad screamed louder, and so did I. At that point, I just crashed. I could not take this anymore. I felt weak and dizzy and literally fell to the floor with the last helpless scream. That moment, I realized I could not do this anymore. A bit more, and I would not be able to take it. I would go crazy or even worse. That moment, the wall between me and my parents became bigger, and I decided not to react to anything coming from them, no matter what it was. I started gray rocking without knowing it. I lost hope that I had for many years. The hope that one day would understand each other. We would understand each other. They understand you just fine. They understand you just fine. They're just manipulating you. From that moment on, I refused to give any emotional reactions to any provocations on my parents' part. Oftentimes, I felt like crying and would painfully squeeze or scratch my own hand behind my back, but would not show any emotion. Dad started saying that I was becoming cold and they could not feel my energy anymore. Mom would say that I had been a much better girl before and was now turning into someone worse, all thanks to the influence of my friends and outside world. Shortly after, my brother graduated and joined us for a month or so. During that time, we had the final fight that led us to learning about narcissism. It started from Dad and I having yet another conflict about my life and hobbies. I barely reacted. Dad said, "You think you can do whatever you want? You will do what Daddy will tell you. And when you have kids, I will not allow you to act your way with my grandkids," and showed me a middle finger. I stared at him with a challenge and said, "Then you will never see me again." He stared back aggressively, while placing his face closer and closer to mine. That violation of space. See, that's when my mother, they both would do it, but that's when shit would get violent, when we get physical, when they would get into my space when I got bigger. I did not move and did not stop staring at him. At that point, my brother, who had entered the kitchen, came by and placed his hand between our faces. Dad ran towards him, screaming and pushing. Brother held my dad and told him to calm down. Dad then walked around the kitchen quickly with that crazy face of rage and whispered, "I will still be in your head anyway, no matter where you are." At this point, Mom, who had been around all the time, said to me angrily, "If you were a kind girl, go to another room." I refused to go and leave my brother with my parents, especially when Dad was mad at him for interfering. I don't remember how that fight died off, but it was a revelation moment. The fact that me or my brother's future kids could possibly be used or abused by them was unacceptable. Soon one evening, when my parents were asleep, my brother came to my room with a laptop and quietly showed me a video he discovered looking up manipulative parents. Its thumbnail was a raging face, and its title was "Narcissist Destroys What He Cannot Control." I got goosebumps from how precise these were. We started learning about the topic, and soon enough, my brother recommended your channel to me. This was when we were already moved out. This will be for another video. Thank you very much for reading this, Ollie. Please share your thoughts with us. Thank you, fellow subscribers, for listening and for your comments. Have a good week. Jane. Baby boomer black hole, man. I mean, you described it better than anything I said in here. The baby boomers are a black hole to suck up your emotions, your self-esteem, your time, your energy, your friends, your relationship. Suck you into a black hole and spit you out into confusion and some alternate reality. Why do they do this? So they don't have to deal with each other. Because at the end of the day, as much as they put each other up on pedestals, these baby boomers, because they are one. Because they are one of these baby boomers. So they have to put each other up on pedestals. But they hate each other. And they hate themselves. That's that generation. That's why they got to destroy everything. Because they hate each other and they hate themselves. But they have to, like I said in a couple videos ago, the lies they tell is to put themselves up on these pedestals. The pedestals are all bullshit. They have no foundation. What they are is black holes. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much, Jane, for your contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like a private video made, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.